Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hicksville the Musical. You think I should say Hicksville, Ohio? To differentiate it from the other Hicksville, the one on Long Island, New York. Which, by the way, is home to singer Billy Joel. Hey, look, why don't you go clean up the stage a bit and see what those folks over there are doing? I'm going to get back to these people out here. Anyway, we're just glad you're here tonight. Yes, Hicksville is a funny name for a town. Stan Applegate was a traveling salesman on the road for many years, and he used to say that he would always tell all his customers that he was from Hicksville. They might not remember his name or what company he was with, but they would always say, "Hey, you're that guy from Hicksville." It turned out to be a great mnemonic device.
There are children present! Shouldn't mention you-know-who.
What are you talking about?
That device word you said.
My good man, a mnemonic device.
Well, you said it again!
As I was trying to say, the word mnemonic, which doesn't start with a D, although doofus does. The word mnemonic, it means a way to remember something, a method to make something unforgettable.
Well, Hicksville sure is one of those... It's unforgettable, all right. It makes you kind of wonder. Where in the world did they get a name like Hicksville? Even people from the sticks would like to know. Did you think of it one night when you'd been drinking? Or did you just want a place where Hicks could go? Changed the regulations, and Hicks was afraid that they would want large sums of money.
So what do you do? What do you do? Patience, my good woman. So he called into his office a young man, a novice, named A.P. Edgerton. He sat him down and told him, "Son."
What'd he say? What'd he say?
We'll get to it. Go west to Ohio, to that swampy land that I own. Take these documents, I doubt that they will follow. It's really not so bad, though the mosquitoes can drive you mad. Transactions we have made will be safe, you will be well paid. Find the settlement called Hicksville, or some such settlement.
Hicksville, sir?
Yes, they all believe it, as if the name isn't bad enough. But a fellow I sent out there earlier spent my fortune and very little to show for it. Now, I'm counting on you, young man, to make something of my investment.
Develop as you please, but don't name it after me, 'cause folks won't want to be called Hicks.
But he did name it after his boss.
That's right.
And how did young Edgerton do with his assignment?
Well, he promoted agriculture and he encouraged the farmers to grow wheat. Well, within a few years, there was a steam-powered mill to produce flour, and after that, there were factories everywhere to make the wooden barrels to ship the flour and the other products on the canal. Well, after that, there was a variety of timber-based industries, and then the settlers came to find jobs and to buy land.
So he did a good job.
A great job.
I just got something. Where Edgerton got its name.
That's right. You know, it's too bad his boss couldn't have had a more ordinary name. We could be Smithville or Jonesville instead of Hicksville.
He could have been named Buzz.
I guess it could have been worse.
A lot worse. Hicksville could have been one of those forgettable small towns with a forgettable small town name.
Well, then let's just sing the praises of Hicksville.
So where in the world do you get a name like Hicksville? I knew and now I know that you know too. Name like that, there has to be a story. And every word of it is true. When we lie to you, when we steer you wrong, you know it's true, it's in a song. That's how we got the town named Hicksville.
Well, now you know where the name came from, and a little bit about the man who got this place off the ground. Yes, that A.P. Edgerton was quite a fellow. He was a man who knew how to get things done, and he did more before he was 35 than most people do in an entire lifetime. And he was fair and kind to boot. When someone had trouble making their payments in cash, he would often accept produce as payment, and his terms were very reasonable. He wanted to see something happen here, and because of him, it did.
A.P. Edgerton was a man who knew how to get things done. A.P. Edgerton, he knew how to get things done. He developed Hicksville, Edgerton, and Bryan built the road to Antwerp. We call 49 in Antwerp. He built brought the first post to our town. Then built those mills again when they all burned down.
He did all of that?
All that. And most of it he did before he was 32. Remember, he was only 24 when he came to Hicksville. And he'd already been a bookkeeper and a postmaster in New York. He was a man who knew how to get things done.
He built the land office, you can still see it's the home of the Historical Society. He donated land, could a man like that be found to build churches and even the county fairgrounds?
Yes, A.P. Edgerton was a man of great vision. He saw that new transportation would be needed if the area was to continue to grow and prosper, and he traveled to Baltimore, Maryland to convince the B&O Railroad to run their new line through Hicksville. He even sweetened the deal by donating the land where the railroad would be built. In 1873, before the railroad, Hicksville had a population of less than 1,000. By 1882, it had swelled to over 2,500. He also donated land to get the railroad run through Edgerton, which was instrumental in Edgerton's development.
Oh, yes. Let's see. He was also a state, regional, and national figure. He was elected to the Ohio Senate in 1845, a delegate to the Democratic National Convention 4 times, and the chairman in 1856 when the Democrats elected James Buchanan as President of the United States. He served in the U.S. House of Representatives and was appointed by President Grover Cleveland as President of the U.S. Civil Service Commission. He later moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where he was head of the Fort Wayne Board of Trade, president of the Fort Wayne School Board, and a trustee at Purdue University. He often returned to Hicksville and spent vacations in their summer home here. He died here in 1897 at the age of 84. A section of his home still remains on South Bryan Street.
Wow, I sure am glad there was an A.P. Edgerton. Just think what this area might be like if it weren't for him. We could use a few APs today.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there were 1 or 2 APs out here tonight.
Do you really think so?
Well, sure. I mean, who was he anyway but a man with an education and touch of kindness who knew how to get things done?
A.P. Edgerton was a man who knew how to get things done. A.P. Edgerton, he knew how to get things done.
In all our talk of Henry Hicks and A.P. Edgerton, we must never forget that they were not the first people to settle in this area. For centuries before Columbus came, Native Americans called Ohio home. After the American Revolution, white settlers began the westward push, and their desire for more land created conflict with the Indians. During the 1820s, the government was under pressure to take official action, and they finally did so with the Indian Removal Act of 1830. Which called for the relocation of all Indians to lands west of the Mississippi River. Often the removal was not handled with any care or sympathy, but rather in a cold, matter-of-fact manner. This decade-long ordeal was called by the Indians the Trail of Tears. From eyewitness accounts and stories handed down in families from Hicksville and Edgerton, the following illustrates what could have happened at a small Indian settlement that still remained in this area. The time is around 1840. It's early morning, and the village is just stirring to life.
Oh, little Blossom, don't you just love this time of day?
It's like the earth is still asleep, so quiet and still.
A perfect time to learn its secrets.
We're gathering herbs and flowers.
To make more of your potions, no doubt. I still haven't forgotten how you got rid of that fever I had last month.
Nor have I stopped admiring this bracelet you made for me in return.
We take care of each other. It's our way of life. I just hope we're allowed to continue in this place.
You mean those rumors we hear from passing travelers?
I fear they may be more than rumors. No matter what, we are people. So continue to sing and practice your medicine. Be strong. We will endure.
I will be strong.
What is my cousin talking about?
Nothing that need worry you, precious one. Now let me think. What was it I was intending to teach you today?
You're going to show me some secrets.
Ah, yes. Today, I will be showing you the herbs needed to create a wonderful salve that can heal wounds and bring comfort to those who are hurting. Easing people's pain is one of the most important things we do.
By the order of the government of the United States, all Indian people are hereby ordered to be removed to lands west of the Mississippi. You have approximately 4 hours to gather your belongings and prepare for the journey.
4 hours? We had much time.
Then I suggest you use it wisely. There is one exception. We have been told that there's an Indian woman by the name of Morningstar who gives medical services to people in this area. She will remain behind until a proper white doctor can settle on the territory. Which one of you is this woman?
She is not here.
Then where is she?
She's gathering herbs for her medicines.
I want to be informed as soon as she returns. Now get busy. I have another settlement to move in 2 days, and I won't allow you to put us behind.
First
men are fine. You, however, are ordered to remain behind and take care of settlers in this area.
But my family, my friends.
They will go, you will stay.
But sister, they can't do this.
Whoever this child belongs to, please tend to her. And keep her quiet.
Oh, Blossom, come with me.
Let's move out. I suggest you curtail this crying and save your energy for the journey. There will be plenty of time for tears once we've reached Oklahoma.
Take this shawl to remember me by.
You will always be in my heart.
Good
It's now 1845, and Hicksville is still pretty isolated. The railroad won't come through for decades. The canal could be accessed to neighboring Antwerp, but the road was often so muddy that wagon wheels would sink in up to the axle, making travel or transportation slow and frustrating. So A.P. Edgerton devised a plan to build a plank road made of split logs that would join Hicksville and Antwerp. The first difficulty encountered was in signing up enough men to do the back-breaking labor, so a specialist was hired. You know what I mean, one of those men who can convince almost anyone to do almost anything. Our specialist has just arrived in town to address a group of local men. Let's see how he does.
On behalf of the Antwerp Pike Commission, I would like to welcome you here today. Gentlemen, you have the tremendous opportunity to be involved in a great task of enriching the lives of your fellow men and making history.
The only one that's gonna get rich from this here road is them local big wigs that's probably gonna oversee the tolls.
Man, I have a contract here that guarantees you 25 cents a day. That's a fair wage.
Let me have a look at that there contract. Doc fixed me up with these spectacles so I can see like a hawk.
Oh, you got them spectacles for so you can better see the widow Smith when she comes to town for supplies.
You shut up, Gordy. I'll shove this shovel down your throat.
Oh yeah? Well, just you try.
No, I don't have the heart to see as how Doc fixed you up with them pearly whites.
I hear you got a doctor that works miracles with teeth.
If he can make you look good, he can work miracles.
Man, let's get back to the business at hand.
Well, the wage is what you say and all. But tell me, why should I go out and do all this hard work when I can sit around here all day and bum food off of my kinfolk?
Yeah, answer that.
Got a point. Well, man, I can see you're inspired by another kind of vision. Do you know what these are?
Something we ain't got none of around here.
These are Antwerp girls. That's right. Take a good look, man. Catch the vision. For when you're infused with the vision, any task becomes a joy, a pleasure.
Mister, I'm seeing that vision.
But what about me? I'm married.
Have you ever noticed that when you see a pretty girl, it doesn't make you love your wife any less? On the contrary, it makes your desire for her stronger than ever.
You're right. Ain't nothing like seeing a pretty girl wife not married.
Sign me up.
Me too.
Hey, I was in front of you.
Will we be away from our wives for long periods of time?
I'm afraid so, such is the life of a pioneer.
Well, then sign me up.
Living here in Hicksville can be lonesome as can be. I just can't seem to find the girl who's just the girl for me. But not so far away, and growing closer every day. There are women who make winter seem like May. That's why we're working on the Antwerp Pike, dreaming of those Antwerp girls every night, thinking of their beauty makes the work seem light.
What's he got there?
So we can all get If that's not your cup of tea, then you can saw logs. The boss that comes to town at 9 and 2 and 4. And when he comes to town, we do a little more.
And so the road to Antwerp was built. Yes, there were a healthy crop of specialists back in those pioneer days. Once the road was built, they found other ways to lighten the load of their fellow men.
Howdy, neighbor. Been the road long?
Well, it seems like it. I can't rightly say for sure, because I ain't got no watch.
What a coincidence. You have no watch, and I happen to have an extra one, which I'm practically willing to give away.
Really?
My friend, when I joke about a matter of such obvious fate,
Now, what's it look like?
let me show you. It's handcrafted with the finest gold. It keeps precision time because of the action of bearings made from rare Indian rubies.
How much is it?
To you, a mere $6.
A lot of money.
You're only thinking of today. Think of your children and your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. And them proudly displaying that watch that belonged to you and saying, boy, what a shrewd businessman he was for getting that watch for only $6.
Well, I'll take it, but only for $5.
You know, I'd argue with you, but I know when I'm up against a superior negotiator. I'll sell it to you for $5. Here, I'll tell you what, I need to settle. Let's see what time it is here. It's 3 o'clock. Here, I'll set that watch for you, and we'll exchange funds here, and we'll be all set to go. Let me get this set to okay. 3 o'clock on the nose. It's a pleasure doing business with you, friend.
Pleasure doing business with you too. Don't take any wooden nickels. These woods are full of crooks.
I'll keep a lookout.
Mama, come see what I bought. It's only $5.
You mean that you spent all the money from our prize hog on this trinket?
But it's real gold. And it's got ruby bearings in it. And I bought it at 3 o'clock. And it's now
3 o'clock.
What?
Let me look at it. I've tinkered with a few watches in my day. Probably just needs an adjustment. Let's see, the case opens here. Hey, there's nothing in here.
It can't be!
My mama always told me I married an imbecile.
Why did you get took? Did he sell you some wooden nickels too?
Would anybody like to buy? Would anybody like to buy a watch? I'm practically giving them away.
Remember the Music Man? Professor Harold Hill flew into a small Iowa town and tried to sell them a boys' band by convincing them of the evils of a pool table in their midst. Of course, that was all made up, but if you think they had trouble in River City, you should have been in Hicksville in 1885. A Mr. Pierce came into town with an idea that he was sure would make some money for himself while providing the good folks of Hicksville with a little harmless entertainment. But he had no idea what he was in for. Here he comes now.
Good day, ma'am. Could you tell me where I could rent a room?
Well, the Swilly Hotel is nice.
I'm sorry, not a place to stay, but a large room where you might do a recreational activity.
Well, there's a building down the street that has a nice sized room. Ask for Mr. Poole.
Oh, well, thank you now. Here's my card. Once I'm up and running, you can stop by and you can have your first session free.
Session? Is this legal? I mean, I'm a church-going woman.
It's as sanctified as a sleigh ride.
Well, I know some pretty funny business that goes on under blankets during a sleigh ride.
Don't worry. This is completely innocent. Everything is completely out in the open.
Well, what's it called?
Roller skating.
Roller skating, huh? It sounds nice.
It is, and it is just what this town needs. Now, where did you say I could find Mr. Poole, was it?
The building down the street on the corner, this side. Oh, no, there's Mr. Poole now.
Thank you, and don't forget, roller skating.
Yes.
Are you Mr. Poole?
Yes, I am. Can I help you?
Yes, I understand you have a large room to rent.
Well, could be if it's legit. Last month I rented a room to some fellas. I thought they were going to take care of some stray animals or something. How was I supposed to know what they meant by cat house? Unless it still isn't speaking to me.
This is innocent. I am here to introduce you and your fellow citizens to the latest recreational activity. It's the biggest thing in Chicago and even in Auburn.
Auburn?
Auburn, you don't say.
I do say. And it is an opportunity for you to make a tidy sum by being the very first to offer it here in Hicksville. So now, how much does this room rent for?
$10 a week with a month in advance.
That's a lot of money up front.
Well, take it or leave it.
How about this? $10 a week, and I'll put my roller skates up for collateral. That way, if I can't pay, you have got this gold mine all to yourself.
Tell you what, make it $15 and you have a deal.
15 it is.
And here's the key. I'll have a contract ready for you tomorrow.
Splendid. If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and put my sign out now, and I'll open tonight.
I wish you luck.
I don't need luck. I've got roller skating.
Well, what is roller skating anyway?
Why, it's just the latest craze to hit the nation. You want to pass those out for me?
Well, how do you do it?
Well, I was going to open tonight, but I suppose we could do a small demonstration right here.
Ooh.
First thing you need is a suitcase that opens. Roller skates. And then all you do is push and glide. Push and glide.
Is that all there is to it?
That's all. Just push and glide. Push and glide. Just push and the left side and the right. Push and slide to the left and to the right. I feel like I'm floating on air, all without a care in the. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
If you think it's so funny, why don't some of you try?
Well, it doesn't look that hard.
Oh, look that up. Give her room.
Feel like you're floating on air, all without a care in the world. Feel always in your face, almost dream like your troubles are going away. So why are you hesitating? You could be wrong, escaping, having the time of your
Well, hello, Mrs. Funbuster.
Good evening, Reverend. Are you aware of what has been going on in our fair city this afternoon?
No, but I'm sure you're going to tell me.
The most immodest display of frivolity I have ever seen.
You mean worse than last year's travesty of baseball?
Much worse. People were laughing, and I think I caught a glimpse of a woman's ankle and your daughter.
Wait, my daughter was involved in this?
Oh, I should say so. Wheels strapped to her feet and holding hands with that Smith boy.
Sounds really serious.
You had better take me seriously. If you want the money for that new church steeple, I demand that you call a meeting of all the ministers in town at once to discuss this outrage.
Well, we're just beginning to get organized. I don't know.
No, I'll tell you what I know. This roller skating will be at the top of the agenda at your very next meeting.
I'm not sure.
Not? I'll know what you are not. Just get it done.
Yes, Mrs. Funbuster.
We're not exactly sure how the discussion went at that meeting of the Hicksville Ministerial Association. Someone once told me that one of the ministers suggested that they put a sign outside the roller rink which would read, "Avoid temptation, keep your bearings." What we do know is that Mr. Pierce was run out of town and he lost the roller skates that he put up as collateral. We also know that not too much later, they decided that maybe roller skating wasn't quite as bad as was first thought, and the rink was reopened without Mr. Pierce. So the moral of the story is, well, I guess we'll leave the moralizing to others. It seems that once there was a bit of competition, if you will, between Hicksville girls and Antwerp girls. In a late 1880s edition of the Antwerp the Artist, the girls in Antwerp claimed that Hicksville girls would tie pieces of sandpaper to their ankles beneath their floor-length dresses, so that when they walked, their cheap dresses would make the sound of an expensive silk dress.
Are you expecting me to believe that's a genuine silk skirt?
Believe what you want. You're just jealous that you don't have one.
The only thing I don't have is the nerve to pull off such a stunt.
What you don't have is a boyfriend. The proof is in the pudding head, as they say.
Oh!
See you at the hardware store.
Does the term come to mind? I'm sure glad things are better today. One thing hasn't changed, though, the need to find compatible companionship. First it was those men working on the Antwerp Pike in the 1840s dreaming of the Antwerp girls. Now we're going to look in on two Hicksville women in the 1880s and see how they dealt with it.
Why, Kathleen, you look practically distraught. That's because I am. How am I supposed to meet a man? I mean, when I go to church, I have to sit with my parents and leave with them immediately after the service. I'm not allowed to take walks by myself. There are plenty of men off in town on Saturday nights, but if I were caught up there, my parents would send me to live with my Aunt Myrtle in South Dakota. I know. It's the same for me. My parents have me on such a short leash, the dog laughs at me. I wish there was a place where we could go where we could at least talk to some men, get to know them a little. There's no place like that, not in Hicksville anyway. Wait a minute. My uncle brought back a newspaper from Chicago, and in it I saw an advertisement for just such a place. I think it was called a social club. My parents would never let me go to Chicago. Well, maybe we don't have to. Maybe we can bring Chicago here. We can make our own, whatever it is. Here? Yes, here. Now, all we have to do is think of a name for it. I kind of like club. No, my parents don't like anything with the word club in it. We need to call it something more refined, more dignified. So what's another word for a club? A club is a group of people with the same purpose in mind. I've got it! We can call it an association. That's good. Now we need to add another word, a gentle word, an innocent word, to make it even easier for our parents to swallow. A word like congenial. So, we're the congenial association of what? Desperate women. That's what we are. businesslike. My father would like that. Marriage seekers. No. Matrimonial hopefuls. That still sounds too desperate. I've got it! The Congenial Association of Matrimonial Candidates. Well, that sure takes the romance out of it. It's perfect. Our parents won't suspect a thing. Now, if we can think of a song as a way to present it to them, my father thinks that everything musical is cultured. So we are the Congenial Association of, that's it. We are the Congenial Association of Matrimonial Candidates. The Congenial Association of Matrimonial Candidates. We seek to be the ideal woman. Prim, proper, dignified. At least until we get those boys inside. Then it's every woman for herself. There's no regard for no one else. We walk hours, nobody gets to blue. Honeybees come all never round Parents ahoy! Then we resume proper behavior, decorum. Would you like tea? I get you some. Is it Mozart or Handel that I like best? Surely Beethoven towers above all the rest. I'm working hard so I can be the very best hostess. All clear! Now let's get back to what we're here for. I'm not a child anymore. We're sorry, Mom and Dad, we stood to we want you to know that we still love you. We didn't want to do anything bad. But sitting on the table trying to start raving now.
Go ahead and continue with the show. Of course, no show about Hicksville would be complete without a discussion of Hicksville's famous crooks.
Oh, that's what I just love to look at the story.
What are you talking about?
What? Crooks, robbers, villains, uppers in the law. Why, I always knew that you're down at a wild boy.
You're not from around here, are you?
And look at tail, Governor. But it's not the accent, is it? Well, I've been working hard to fit in.
No, your accent is...
It's pretty good American, wouldn't you say?
I'd rather not say.
What's that, Governor?
Nothing. Your accent is... Well, anyway, the crooks that I were referring to was one of Hicksville's leading families.
Leading families? Well, in London, where you citizens know that there are titles reserved for respectable folk like yourself here.
London must have been a very refined place.
Aye, that it is. Oh, come here. You better check your bookies.
Okay, anyway, as I was saying, Crook is the surname of an industrial family who lived in Hicksville in the early 20th century.
Well, I was a sort of England, yes I was. I fled here. I emigrated here to speak the I and what you like, in which I was a prisoner.
I'll bet you were a prisoner, all right. Now, go on, just get out of here. Anyway, the Crooks first came to Hicksville to start a flour mill. Fine native timber was one of the great assets of the area, so they established a woodworking plant, which in the early days made barrel staves. Another plant in town burned, and the owner joined with the Crooks to form Crook Miller. Eventually, the main product became wood candles. In fact, at one time, it was reputed to be the largest candle factory in the world. Through the years, they also made nightsticks and many of the flagpoles you see in churches and in school classrooms. Crook Miller is one of the oldest manufacturers in the county.
Hicksville is home to several other nationally and even internationally known products. These things don't just happen. A lot of hard work, determination, endurance, and sacrifice go into building a company and even into getting companies to locate here. By 1950, the manufacturing boom of the late 1800s had waned to the point that there were only 2 industrial employers in town. Construction had almost ceased, and property values were at all-time lows. Something needed to be done, and a group of people answered the call by forming the Hicksville Developmental Corporation. They encouraged other citizens to buy stock in the corporation, which generated funds used to bring industry here. It wasn't for pay, it was for volunteer service to the community. Most of the industry that came to Hicksville in the past 50 years can be attributed to their work and includes Datco, now Cooper Tools, Trident, Synchro, whose building was later housed commercial shearing and now Parker, AP Tool, All Face Tool, Mill Creek Tool, 5 Acre Mill, and Dietrich Industries. We salute these citizens who, in the spirit of AP Edgerton, helped our community grow, making possible the jobs many of us have now. Products produced by plants in operation today include the line of Datco Air Tools, featuring their drills, grinders, and sanders used in aerospace and countless other industries. Trident fittings, Parker hydraulic valves, 5 Acre Mill wood items, and products made by AP Tool, JB Tool, and Mill Creek Tool. 2 Hicksville brothers, Ed and Jean Nyhart, and their families founded Nemco Medical, which produces specialty products and instrumentation for the orthopedics industry. Later, Ed Nyhart opened Nemco Foods, which has become a major name in commercial food preparation. Their food warmers, ovens, slicers, and other prep aids are in use every day at fast food and casual dining establishments coast to coast. Countryman Medical, started by Kevin Countryman, made splints and related products and combined with Nemco Medical to form Nemco Med in 1998, which is now part of Avalon Technologies. From the days of AP Edgerton, when the town was home to lumber and flour mills, furniture and barrel factories, and foundries, to today, where the scope has widened to encompass the aerospace, automotive, food preparation, construction, and medical sectors, Hicksville continues to provide products necessary to our way of life.
There you are! Come back with my wallet, you crook!
In large part, it was a grueling, drawn-out struggle for inches fought from an elaborate network of trenches and marked by the occasional suicide charge across no man's land. Confined to those trenches, the soldiers of World War I produced a new art form known as trench art. One common object involved the elaborate forming and engraving of brass shell casings. But World War I also has a unique, deadly side, as all wars do. Several new weapons were perfected and came into widespread use during the conflict. These include the tank, The airplane and machine gun, which was so efficient at repelling those valiant charges, and most horrifying of all, poison gas. This took the form of mustard gas, which caused terrible burns on any exposed skin, nerve gas, which often left its victims with uncontrollable shaking for the rest of their lives, and the dreaded chlorine gas, whose ominous yellow-green cloud hung low over the battlefield and flowed down into the trenches. Breathing it produced hydrochloric acid in the lungs, followed by an agonizing death from suffocation. The war went decided in an epic 6-week battle in the Aragon forest of France, bordered by the Meuse River on the south. It became known as the Meuse-Argonne Offensive. Over 1 million Americans took part, including several from Hicksville, and 3 from what was then called Tite Street. These 3 perished along with 26,000 other Americans in that struggle that ended the war. The name of Tite Street was officially changed to Meuse-Argonne, and the sign bears 3 stars in their memory.
You are able to stand for 2 to 3 minutes, and please only if you are able to do so. Please rise to your feet as the color guard enters from the rear down the center aisle. And as we pay tribute in song to these brave soldiers and to all from this area who have given their lives wearing the American uniform. And now as the rest of the audience is seated, would anyone who has ever served in our armed forces please remain standing and let us pay them, show them our appreciation. famous entertainers and acts called Hicksville home. One of those acts was Hart's Boys Band, that toured the country early in the 20th century. When the young men were needed for the military in World War I, Mr. Hart formed Hart's Girls Band, whose fame equaled that of the Boys Band. They toured the East Coast in Canada and west to Kansas City and the Corn Palace in South Dakota. Mr. Hart taught music to many young people in Hicksville, including his daughters Kathleen and Edith, who both played in the girls' band. Kathleen, who adopted the shortened stage name Kay, was in demand as a pianist and trumpeter while still in high school. After graduation, she moved to Chicago and joined the Glorious Girls, and later the Gypsy Wayfarers. While on the vaudeville circuit, she met and fell in love with a rising young dancer named Frank Dougherty. Frank and Kay were married in 1930 and eventually put together their own act. It combined Kay's trumpet impersonations, her piano playing, and, because Kay was such a fast learner, the two of them dancing. We catch up with them now riding the New York subway between shows. While she was on the road, some interesting things happened to Kay before she met Frank. Being an attractive young woman, she had her share of admirers. Here comes one now, a young comedian on the same program. He's been waiting until Kay's rehearsal is over.
Very good, ladies. All right. That's all for this morning. Call is at 7 p.m. tonight.
So, hey, how about we go out on the town tonight?
So, Milton, the answer is the same as it was last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. No!
Oh, come on, Peggy. No, I'm crazy about you.
Mr. Burrow, crazy is the first thing you've said in all these weeks that I agree with.
So, if you don't like the sound of Mrs. Milton Burrow, why don't you just say so?
Milton! Milton, if rehearsal is over, there are a few errands I need you to run for me. First, I need you to go to Goldstein's Deli and pick up a pound of corned beef.
I'll do these errands later. I want to hang out with the guys.
Milton!
Yes, Mother.
Poor Uncle Milty. It seems he was a bit tied to his mother's apron strings in his younger days. Things weren't easy for show business people back in those days. Long hours, constant travel, and modest pay. But there was a lot of backstage fun, and fun people, like the kid who came knocking on Frank and Kay's dressing room door one day.
My word. Who have we here? Can I help you?
Can you tune in the game on the radio, sir?
You care, Kay?
Oh, it's fine with me. A 12-year-old boy needs a little diversion, especially on New Year's Day. Make yourself at home. He's done such a good job emceeing our show, he's earned a little entertainment.
So, Mickey, who you root for today?
Well, my money's on the UCLA.
dressing room, listening to the roll call. The list of greats Frank and Kay worked with reads like a who's who of the entertainment world, including Jack Benny, Fred Allen, Irene Ryan, who later played Granny in the TV series The Beverly Hillbillies, and George Burns and Gracie Allen, and let's not forget Milton Berle. Regrettably, the only glimpses we have of them on stage at the height of their entertainment career are a few still photos, but even still shots capture the grace and elegance that epitomize their performances. One thing about Frank and Kay, they continued to keep their skills honed well into their later years, and we do have some video footage of them in their 70s doing the routines that made them famous coast to coast. Even with many decades between these clips and their years on stage, the magic is still there. Here is Kathleen playing a piano number from their act entitled Hidden on the Keys. Frank is still light on his feet as Bad Bad Leroy Brown. This extraordinary couple also sought to pass on what they had learned. Kathleen did this both in the classroom as a teacher in the central local school system and in private lessons. The two of them put together numerous variety shows, instructing area people in a bit of that vaudeville magic. We thought you might enjoy this routine Frank taught his assistant, Hal Osmond.
There's one thing that I'd like to explain. Now, Hal's no. You weren't supposed to come on until after I introduced you. But this time, let's see what's wrong when you do it being slow, huh? Now, remember, very slow. All right, very slow. Now, before I introduce you to my partner, there's one thing I want to explain. That doesn't work very easily. Just sit back, take it easy, and you'll be interested in me. You keep trying.
Thanks, Frank and Kathleen, for everything. Another. And of course, we have one of those performers with us in our cast tonight. Hal Osmond, please come on out here and take a bow. Hicksville native who made a name for himself playing the trumpet was Max Greer. Max was introduced to the trumpet by his father, Eck, who led local bands. Max eventually organized his own orchestra at Indiana University and toured the Midwest. During World War II, he was a member of the Army Air Corps Band, now the Air Force Band. In 1947, Max moved to California, where he played with some of the biggest names of the big band era, including Buddy Rich, Les Brown, the NBC Orchestra, which was also the orchestra for The Tonight Show, and Frankie Carl. He was in demand as a studio musician, playing on numerous recordings and movie soundtracks. Selmer Trumpets even gave Max a trumpet to play and endorse. When they phoned for a testimonial, Max was out on the road, but his wife said she could give him one, and with her quick wit, quipped, "Since he has been playing your trumpet, he doesn't beat me as much." Needless to say, Selmer didn't use her endorsement. Another of Max's big-time gigs was in the orchestra that toured with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, and he played on the soundtracks to many of their films. In later years, he moved back to Hicksville and became a fixture in the Fort Wayne jazz scene and at Cold Springs Resort, Hamilton Lake, Indiana. When he could no longer play trumpet, he transferred his skills to the Vibes, which he continued to play in clubs well into his 70s. He also sang with the local group, The Undertones. Nice thing about music, it's something you can do your whole lifetime. We leave you with some hot licks from this trumpet master, Max Greer. Students playing with us in the pit orchestra tonight, Eric Dury and Eric Miglin. Please stand up and take them out. Now, we've talked about entertainers and about movies, but how about the biggest movie town ever? How about Hollywood?
on the same ticket.
Well, you better get used to it because it's true. The story starts this way. A Miss Daida Hartle of Hicksville married an H.H. Wilcox of Kansas, and they moved west to Los Angeles.
We're not Kansas anymore, Toto! I've always wanted to see that!
Anyway, as I was saying, in 1886, they purchased 120 acres of apricot and fig groves and began to lay out a town. Daida named it Hollywood after a friend's summer home in Chicago. Although her husband died in 1891, she continued to develop the community, donating land for 3 churches, the first library, a city hall, a park, a primary school, and a police station.
You gotta have that for Paris Hilton and all.
She also built the first bank.
Did you call it the First National Bank?
I don't know.
Why not?
She did build the first post office, the Hollywood Club, and a theater. And she named many of the streets, including Sunset Boulevard.
Wow, she was one busy woman.
Yes, and she was very well respected in a day when business women were not generally well thought of. So the next time someone mentions Hollywood, you can say,
Where did Hollywood come from? The land of fine and sun tales. Where did Hollywood come from? City of people, garble, cruise and robbers. Someplace so sophisticated, someplace special, originated. It's hard to believe, but you will. That Hollywood from Hicksville. Now Hollywood is such a swinging town. Hicksville, not much going down. How there is to be related. Hollywood's its own Where did Hollywood come from? The land of fun and sun tales. Where did Hollywood come from? City of Louis, Berry, Kidman, and Pitt, and Angelina Jolie, and Russell Crowe. Well, I'll keep the picture. No doubt someplace so sophisticated, someplace special, originated. It's hard to believe, gives me a thrill. That Hollywood from Hicksville, oh yeah. That Hollywood from Hicksville, that Hollywood.
perhaps the most noted celebrity to come from Hicksville was Amelia Bingham. She was a star of the stage and played theaters across the United States and in Europe, including a performance in London before the King of England, and a performance before Theodore Roosevelt, and many times on this very stage. Her home on Riverside Drive in New York was a regular stop for sightseeing tour buses. Amelia was the first woman theater manager and producer, on Broadway. When she died in 1927, the New York Times noted more than 2,000 mourners. Her story has an almost Cinderella-like aspect to it, the kind of thing that almost everyone has dreamed would happen to them. So let's go back to the late 1880s and look in on events as they came together to give the world Amelia Bingham. It starts with a young lady, Amelia Swilley, who is home from college for the summer and waiting tables in the restaurant at her parents' hotel, which stood where the Hicksville Bank is today. There she is now. The other main character is Lloyd Bingham. He is an actor in a traveling show presently playing a theater in Hicksville. He also scouts new talents for theaters in New York and Chicago. We pick up the action as he is just about to audition a group of local young singers.
Okay, ladies, let's see what you've got.
We're pretty maids all in a row, in a row. We're pretty maids all in a row. We're pretty maids all in a row. And we hope you enjoy the show.
Not bad at all. You tighten up those harmonies, and they're ready for Chicago.
They'll be thrilled to hear that coming from you, Lloyd.
That's what I do. Every so often, you stumble upon something special. But not in this godforsaken place.
Did you like us? Did you like us?
Yes, you were wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Everybody wants to be a star.
Amelia, hurry up. People at table 2 have been waiting for 10 minutes.
I bring the food, I clear the tables. Deep inside my heart, I know I'm able to do so much more. I know that life has greater things in store for me. I
So what do you think of Hicksville?
Well, at least they've got the name right. Compared to New York, Frank, let's just say it leaves a lot to be desired.
Don't be so cynical. This is the growing edge of the country.
The eternal optimist. All I know is everywhere I turn, I step into a pile of horse shit.
Perhaps we should go get something to eat.
I suppose. No city food around here, but at least it takes the edge off.
Have you ever been to the Swilly Hotel? I hear it's first class.
First class? I can't wait to get back to... Who is this creature I see before me? No one I've met before can match your beauty. Where once I was reluctant, now I'm glad I came to this Hicksville. Please, miss, tell me, what's your name?